We are also seeing and hearing reaction already coming in to that breaking news, major news that NBC News has learned. The U.S. is expected to announce it will ban imports of Russian oil as soon as today. That's according to two sources familiar with the matter, and President Biden is set to speak in the next hour. It all comes after lawmakers in the nation's capital reached a bipartisan deal on legislation that would ban Russian energy imports, including oil and gas. I want to go right to NBC's chief White House correspondent, Kristen Welker, who, along with our friend Peter Alexander, brought us this breaking news. So, Kristen, first of all, there's a tremendous amount of pressure, right, from bipartisan groups of members of Congress. But ultimately, what can you tell us about this and what we're expecting to hear from the president?
Well, Chris, we are going to hear President Biden announce that the U.S. will ban Russian oil imports. This is the most punitive measures that the U.S. has taken to date. Of course, they have announced a range of other sanctions against Russia, including against its large financial institutions and oligarchs. But this goes a step further. In terms of what we are going to hear, the president will announce that the U.S. is acting unilaterally. In other words, that means that its European allies and partners are not taking the same step. And this is significant, Chris, because it means that it's not going to have the same bite, the same impact on Russia's economy if this were being done in lockstep with European partners and allies. So what is the president's message going to be about that? Well, I'm told the remarks are still coming together, but here's what Press Secretary Jen Psaki had to say yesterday when she was asked about this. She said, "We have a different circumstance as it relates to Russian oil because we import such a smaller amount and because we have our own production capabilities and capacities. All that is different. We recognize that." So I wouldn't be surprised if we heard President Biden echo those remarks. The U.S. imports about 8% of its oil from Russia. That's a 2021 figure. It gets much larger when you're talking about European countries, Chris. And so that's really where the difference comes in. You talked about that legislation as well that's coming together that undoubtedly added pressure on President Biden to take action, including after we heard House Speaker Nancy Pelosi last week say, ban it, ban Russian oil. She was very definitive. So this was really a groundswell of pressure that the president was facing to take this action. It is important to note he can take this action without Congress's sign off. The legislation is moving forward on a separate track, and if it were to pass, would effectively codify this ban and may include some other provisions. The big question, though, Chris, what will the impact be on U.S. consumers, as you've been talking about throughout the hour? Gas prices already at an all-time high since about 2008, soaring above $4 a gallon, and they're expected to go even higher than that. So we're watching all of this very closely, Chris, and expecting that announcement at 10:45 in the Roosevelt Room here at the White House.